I think it's a very good team. It's a dangerous bowling side, and that's what we've seen tonight. It can be a very destructive bowling side. And, I think we've just got so many apex predators. At the top of the batting order, that 1, 2, 3 is such a solid unit. The top of our bowling order, we didn't even play Prasid Krishna, another international player. We've got versatility as a side sort of night with Sai Kishore. And we're starting to play with great confidence. Tonight was actually the first game as a coach that I thought like we put all of those departments together really nicely. So this win away from home was an important win for us. We go back into our own hometown now and play another team that's on or above us through the tournament in the points table. So we go to that venue now with great confidence. Yeah, look, there's a lot of moments as a coach that you take that aren't necessarily inside the game, like you'd see in a timeout or in the middle with having nets. I find that with Sai, there's a great connection that we have as fellow left-hand opening batters. And so what better way to discuss cricket than over a nice cup of hot masala chai, and we just tend to do a lap together, and he'll talk about the things that he's confronted during the week. We had a pretty long layover this past couple of days. So it's just good to share those moments and, take the time to reflect rather than just hitting more cricket balls and taking more catches and bowling more balls. So, I really enjoy that time aside. What you find in this IPL is that there is no end to the amount of talent, no end to the amount of matchups, no end to the amount of possibility or potential. We saw that tonight with Suryavanshi. He's 30 coming with a strike rate of almost 300, or over 300 might have been. But the reality is that Gujarat Titans have gone about this tournament their own way. They've constructed a lineup that's revolves around consistency, not exactly, going to set the world on fire with star power, stardust. It's more about, being in the game, staying in the game and being consistent in the game. And through this tournament, we've built momentum into this game as well. So, SRH have got to watch out because we are playing with great confidence and we're starting to click as a unit. Plus, it's also our home venue as well. I mean, of the short time that Gujarat Titans have been in this IPL, they've got the highest winning percentage. And again, we're sort of in that 65-70% zone for this IPL. Previously, before this tournament, we were well into the 60s. So for a young franchise, it does its own way. And that's probably what I'm, most fortunate to be coaching right now, because it doesn't seem to be a lot of running this way or running that way or running to the attention of fours and sixes. It just goes about its business nicely. Yeah, so two parts of that. The first part is we're a conventional batting team that goes about constructing innings in a very meaningful and powerful way. I mean, we were none for 100 and there was no fuss about it whatsoever. There was just good batting, good batsmanship, good partnership batting, and that's getting the job done. Is it 12s, 13s, 14s? Maybe not, but I mean, as a batting coach, I'm not worried about that. I think that's our strength. We feed hard at the top. And then what I was most pleased about this evening was actually Ral Tawadia coming in and striking the way that he did. That was a really important last over that needed to have that 20 run and over, and that was, to the credit of Tiwu. Rashid Khan, we all know he's an X factor in this competition. He is now arguably back to his best. You saw the zip on the wicket. The inability of batsmen to like Donovan Ferreira, who's been in incredible touch since playing, not picking, a leg spinner. I mean, for me, they're the little signs that Rashid's at his best. That ball was 110 kilometres per hour. That was a beauty. That would have got most batters out. So having him through the middle is very, very challenging for any opposition. Well, tonight was a good example, right, of an exciting young talent in Vaibhav Suryavanshi that he got 30 runs, at a strike rate of, like I said before, 300. But when you're chasing 220 odd, you need to bat longer and deeper. So the advantage that we have is that we get players like the three that you mentioned at the top, that are striking at 150. Let me tell you, as a batsman, that is really hard. And they're doing it for a long period of time. They're constantly getting into the back half of the game, not just batting inside the power play. They're going right through with their fitness and their ability to be able to really play test match type cricket, and one-day cricket in particular. So I love the fact that we're going about it constructing an innings, either tonight where we're setting, which is a different challenge for us. We've had a number of totals, in that sort of 160 range, which I would back our batting to get through any day of the week. So it was nice tonight to have that bit of a challenge against an X-factor team like Rajasthan Royals, and to come out on top was really important for us. Yeah. Look, velocity matters. There's no chance that 150, 152 plus type bowling. It's hard to play that and smash it, slog it. That's why we saw a number of balls go up in the air tonight. High velocity, high impact bowling, almost test match type bowling. These are two world-class players. And we've got one still in the dugout as well, in Prasid Krishna. That's a slightly different bowler, but, still very effective. So, those two, and there's no surprise that KG is now wearing the purple cap. I suspect his body's going to get better as this tournament goes on. He is such a key asset for us, and if the ball is swinging as well, Mohammad Siraj goes about his business into the stumps in a very effective way. Has also got a good bouncer as well, as we saw with Suryavanshi tonight. So dangerous batting lineup, but I think the best sides and the sides that consistently push into this tournament are your defensive lineups, of which at the absolute helm is your fast bowling unit. And, we've got that covered nicely.